Today we're getting into the latest Tesla news, including big changes coming to the recently refreshed Model S, feature changes to the Model 3 and Y, full self-driving updates and price increases, and more, so let's get into it. First up today, we have new details about how many cars Tesla specifically sold in China last quarter. We already talked about Tesla hitting record Q4 deliveries of 308,600 cars delivered. That brought their 2021 total deliveries up to 936,172 cars, breaking the previous year's record by around 450,000 cars. Now it is being reported without much surprise that Tesla achieved a new record for sales in China specifically. The China Passenger Car Association released numbers on Tuesday showing Tesla sold 70,847 made-in-China vehicles in the month of December alone. 245 of those were exported to other markets. Adding those 70,847 units to the rest of the year brings Tesla to a total of 473,078 vehicles coming from China in 2021. That's around half of all of the Tesla deliveries for the year, showing how strong Giga Shanghai is coming along as a factory and how well Tesla is selling their cars there despite growing competition. This shows how much Giga Shanghai is contributing to Tesla's growing success, but also shows us what Tesla's soon-to-open factories in Berlin and Texas could be adding to Tesla's capacity in the next couple of years. These new factories will only be improvements upon what they have already built in Shanghai, and that's really exciting for Tesla. Next up today, speaking of those new factories, Tesla has received a special approval from the Brandenburg State Environment Department to build 2,000 Model Y bodies at Giga Berlin ahead of their true final approval. There have been a number of issues facing Tesla's building of Giga Berlin: water delays, approval delays, and more. Of course, there is tons going on for Tesla as well, but we saw just how far along the factory was in Tesla's video posted about the Gigafactory Berlin fair. We have also seen a number of prototypes at the factory covered up. The project was last delayed due to an extension of public commentary on the project, and Tesla was initially authorized to produce 250 Model Y bodies for testing. Some of those models were spotted at the time. Reportedly, Tesla will be producing 500 Model Y bodies per week now, for a total of 2,000 in a month, but they could still receive their final approval before that time is up. All the documents were in to receive final approval in the last week of December. Production is delayed from what Tesla wanted the end of 2021, but it looks like they might be on track to start production in Berlin and possibly Texas this quarter. Over in Texas, some new photos were just posted showing two new Giga presses being delivered to Giga, Texas. These are the giant machines that Tesla has pioneered to make the manufacturing of their cars easier, particularly with the Model Y and then upcoming Cybertruck, which will require an even larger version of this machine. The latest for production beginning there comes from analyst Dan Ives, who said that, quote, "Based on our analysis of Giga Austin, it appears paperwork is now clearing the way for Model Y production starting over the next 7 to 10 days. We believe the stamping machines for Model Y and testing is already in place and mostly completed. Green light for Tesla to kick off Austin." It's still unclear if Tesla will be starting out with their new 4680 battery cells here or not, but either way, it's looking good for production to begin there as well as Berlin. Next up today, some new updates are already coming to the refreshed Model S, this time on the exterior. A year ago, Tesla announced their refreshed Model S and X with the shocking yoke steering wheel, new screens, AAA games, and Plaid model to be released soon. They quietly released this on their earnings call with new photos of what the interior looks like. Additionally, Elon Musk talked about it, saying that it ships in a month. In normal Tesla fashion, especially with global supply chain issues right now, the car was significantly delayed from a February release, but Tesla finally released it with a Plaid launch event in June of 2021. There are still a few features talked about at this event that have not come to be, like AAA gaming in particular, but Tesla just recently updated the Model S with track mode. Soon they will be releasing their updated carbon ceramic brakes as something you can buy after the fact, along with a track-specific wheel package. In the meantime, however, one change that owners have wanted for a long time on the Model S is a change to the headlights, which are known to have issues. That change, along with new taillights, were both spotted alongside the Cybertruck testing in Fremont a few weeks ago, but it was also spotted out on the road with a new, larger charge port. It's pretty hard to tell from these photos what's going on with this new design, but the charge port is a clear departure from the current smaller one, and the rear bar that used to go into the headlights is gone here. Now, this updated model has officially been spotted in Taiwan. First off, in this photo, unfortunately taken at a distance, we can see the rear of the Model S is quite different than current. From the photo, it seems that the rear bar that is usually black has been removed entirely and no longer goes into the taillights. The other option from this photo is that it is there, painted red to match the vehicle color, and doesn't go into the taillights, but from what we've heard, preferred, it is completely gone now. I personally prefer this look. When we look up front, we can see that the Model S headlights have also changed. This requires a sharp eye and zooming into the headlights, but they are different. This will serve more of a functional purpose than a design purpose, since it's still hard to tell exactly what has changed by looking at it, unless you look very closely. Lastly, the biggest change for other countries is the new CCS port. Tesla uses their own charging port for their cars in the US and at their US superchargers. This port is actually much smaller than most and works great for fast charging, but CCS is becoming a lot more standard for electric cars as a whole. In other countries, Tesla ships their cars with this port and not their own, but since it is quite a bit bigger, it requires a larger door. This is shown here on the Model X, and it flips up to open the port and give enough clearance for what are often larger plugs. This is a necessary update for other markets, and we're now seeing how Tesla is implementing it for the refreshed Model S and X. For specifics on what these features are exactly, Sawyer Merritt clarified, saying, quote, "New adaptive headlights with an outer projector lamp that supports a matrix LED, deletion of rear crossbar trim, new native CCS2 charging port with updated door design." These are small but noticeable changes that Tesla is adding to these cars in the way that they do suddenly. The 2022 Model S and X have already shipped, so these changes are not specifically for that model year, but for a slightly updated version of a later 2022 model. It's pretty crazy to see how frequently Tesla makes changes on their cars and how at any time they can be updated. It's great so that customers always have the latest car, but frustrating for people who want at least a year before the new version of the car comes out. Just to clarify, that CCS port is only for markets where Tesla ships that standard, so it'll be interesting to see if Tesla switches all Model S's and X's to this larger charge port door with the smaller port in the US, or if they keep it the same smaller door in the US. I think that they may switch to a larger door across the board so it's easier and it's able to support their own CCS converter. Also, we aren't sure what the timeline is for these changes in the US, but they were already spotted in this Taiwan model, so they're likely coming on new models off the production line. Next up, one more small change on the Model X, and then we'll talk about the new additions to the Model 3 and Y. When configuring a Model X, the first thing you'll notice is that it is about a year out for an estimated delivery date. That's a long time, but with the standard long-range model, you can choose 5, 6, or 7 seats. With the Plaid model, this used to be an option, but Tesla has now dropped it. In the Plaid Model X, you now only can choose the 6-seat option, which actually raises the price of this configuration by $6,500 compared to what it used to be priced at. It's unclear why this change has been made, but that car has seen significant delays and only a handful of deliveries from what we can tell, so that could be a factor. Deliveries for the Plaid Model X show October of 2022. Next up, Tesla has made a number of changes to the Model 3 and Y that were first completed in Shanghai and now are applying to both Shanghai and Fremont built cars. According to Sawyer Merritt, the list of new features coming to the Model 3 and Model Y by Q2 of 2022 includes AMD processor, which will speed up the performance on screen, lithium-ion low-voltage battery, which is easier to replace, lighter, and lasts longer, and heated wiper park, which will unfreeze the wiper from the lower section of the windshield if needed. It can be activated in the app or on screen. Next, Tesla is actually dropping a speaker from the 14-speaker premium sound system in these cars. They are removing the speaker that is located under the center instrument panel, a speaker many didn't know existed, and making the count now 13. According to Tesla, this reduces complexity and redundancy and has no noticeable difference in sound quality. The new setup also supposedly gives them more flexibility for future sound improvements. Tesla does make sound improvement and even has a whole Tesla audio engineering team, so this sounds accurate. In the past, when Tesla has removed things like passenger lumbar support, it has been frustrating since it just removes a feature with no cost benefit to the customer. But in this case, it really feels like something that doesn't affect sound quality at all. I will have to compare it when it comes out though, because I love the current sound system in these cars. The last change is that trailer auxiliary for tow hitch enabled vehicles has actually been disabled. Since they are changing 12-volt batteries, they will require an adapter that Tesla will make available in mid-2022 and allow owners to retrofit. Trailer lights and brakes are not impacted. That won't be the most popular change, but it's necessary for Tesla to make that 12-volt change without waiting. Lastly, Sawyer Merritt said, quote, "Tesla notes that they have no plans to offer any of these options above as service retrofits. That includes the AMD processor. Tesla has offered retrofits for many new features in the past, especially because they have promised a lot with their full self-driving package and has had to update the computers on people's cars to handle the new software. For normal vehicle features though, not including full self-driving, Tesla is stopping retrofits for most things, and this makes sense. Cars are always updating and all products are from every industry at the same time. We can't expect them to keep offering retrofits of new features on older cars, just like no other company does. At a certain point, if you really want the new features, you'll have to buy a new Tesla." Next up today, speaking of full self-driving, Elon Musk has announced that Tesla is raising the price of the full self-driving package once again. Tesla has continuously raised the price of this package since they see its extreme value once it achieves full autonomy. However, those features have been significantly delayed, and it is becoming something that less and less people are buying with their Tesla. The FSD beta is out and has seen a lot of improvements, but I'm honestly shocked that they are raising the price once again. It's an investment in the future, but it will cause even more customers to opt out. Elon Musk said, quote, Tesla full self-driving price raising to $12,000 on January 17th, just in the US. FSD price will rise as we get closer to FSD production code release. I understand Tesla's idea here that you are getting a steal paying $10,000 or $12,000 today for software that will eventually drive itself completely for you. You'll also be able to use the car as a robotaxi with this software and it will earn money for you. However, at the same time, Tesla does not allow a transfer of this software package. It stays with the vehicle, so if you want to upgrade your car, you have to buy it again at whatever the new increased price is. If you don't upgrade, your car could be quite old by the time the software truly arrives. These are the reasons why, in my reviews, I recommend against buying this package. It'll be interesting to see how this pans out and how it affects the FSD subscription price of $199 per month. The latest timeline for the beta, still only in the hands of an exclusive group of testers with high safety scores, is that, quote, beta 10.9 should be ready in about a week, beta 11 with single city/highway software stack and many other architectural upgrades probably next month. That would mean that 10.9 should arrive this week, so we should see a lot of videos of it soon enough. Next up today, Tesla has announced that they officially have superchargers operational in all 50 US states. They posted some photos of their chargers in a few different climates saying, quote, drive anywhere in the US using the supercharger network, now in all 50 states. Of course, you can't quite drive absolutely anywhere, but you are covered for most road trips to reasonably common areas, and this network is only going to be expanding in the next few years. It will also be opening to non-Teslas in the future, and we can see that Tesla has even added this filter option to their supercharger map online. You can see a new indicator for superchargers open to non-Tesla. Tesla has begun opening their network in the Netherlands first, and Elon Musk said last year that, quote, we're making our supercharger network open to other EVs later this year. This worried some customers at the time regarding congestion until Tesla can ramp up their own network, since Tesla alone is selling tons of cars. However, on Tesla's website they say, quote, we're starting with a select number of sites so that we can review the experience, monitor congestion, and assess feedback before expanding. Future sites will only be opened to non-Tesla vehicles if there is available capacity. This is all great news for the future of electric vehicles, since fast charging infrastructure is one of the most important things for all EVs. Next up today, Honda released some concept photos of new vehicles that are electric, clearly showing that Tesla's crazy Cybertruck is having some influence even before it has come to production. Honda unveiled these EN series EV concepts with an SUV, GT, and coupe. All have that cyber look with sharp angles, and the SUV in particular really just looks like a slightly less rendered version of their SUV E prototype unveiled last year. These concepts look cool, but they aren't expected to arrive in any fashion for around 5 years. That's just their goal, but the more normal-looking ENS1 is expected to come to China in spring of 2022, along with the ENP1. Honda says there will eventually be 10 vehicles in this lineup and hasn't shared many other details. Honda has dragged their feet for a long time on making a true EV, so it's good to see these concepts, but hopefully they actually come to be in all countries soon. I'll be surprised if we ever see those cyber-like concepts, but it could happen if the Cybertruck proves successful. Next up today, Rivian, who is one of the most exciting EV startups, has announced their delivery numbers. They just began a small number of deliveries of their R1T truck, and from what we can tell, they are still only 2 employees. However, after their start of production on the R1T in September, Rivian confirmed that they produced 1,015 vehicles, saying, quote, Rivian Automotive Inc. produced 1,015 vehicles by the end of 2021. 920 vehicles were delivered by that date. Some R1S SUVs could have been produced there as well, but from what we can tell, they've only delivered 2 of those to their CEO and CFO. Additionally, this could include Amazon delivery vans, which is a large part of what Rivian is making. Rivian also announced that their COO, Rod Copes, has retired, saying, quote, Rod began a phased retirement from Rivian several months ago, affording the team continuity as we moved toward production ramp. Rivian set their guidance of production for 1,200 vehicles in 2021, so they did miss that goal, but it's still a great start, especially with the supply chain issues affecting everyone. Launch edition R1T order holders have already been getting their delivery date estimates, so hopefully Rivian is able to hold to those after seeing a lot of delays. They recently announced that their battery pack with 400 miles of range is delayed until 2023, along with certain other models, models, so we'll see how well they can ramp up. A production ramp is the hardest thing for any company to do, as Elon Musk continuously reiterates, so I wish all the best for Rivian. They are the first electric truck to market, and it seems to be a really great product, but there is a lot of competition coming their way, including from Tesla. It's exciting that electric trucks are starting to be truly introduced by brands, with Rivian launching theirs, the Ford F-150 Lightning coming hopefully this year, Hummer EV in the same boat, Chevy Silverado EV coming for 2024, Ram EV for 2024, and Tesla Cybertruck seemingly end of this year or into 2023. There are others as well, but those are the main ones on their way. That's all the latest Tesla news for today, so in the meantime, if you want to see all the details on my recent Model Y crash, including the $20,000 repair cost, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.